Hello, this is Amanda Kelly with This Art Called Life. Happy Thursday. It is December 17th now, so we are moving right along here in my Let There Be Light series. So today I'm going to talk about the sun, sunshine. So the literal original source of all light, the sun. So I called it Soak Up the Sun, the sun's healing and activating frequencies, or whatever I called it, something like that. Because the sun is actually really important, and it is truly really healing. So we'll start with the actual benefits, the tangible stuff, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit of the next level ascension ideas and how the sun plays into that. Because it is playing a really crucial part in sending in these light codes. But literally, the sun provides light, so the more we soak it up, the lighter we feel. Just think about it. When we are feeling really stressed out at work, we're like, oh, I need to go on vacation. Where do most people gravitate toward when they want to go on vacation? Somewhere out in nature, and if you're the type who's stuck in an office, usually to relax on the beach, because we innately, it's not just that like, oh, it's relaxing. We innately know that the sun is healing, and we have known that for many millennia. And we haven't lost the idea that the sun provides us with the chemical reaction we need to create vitamin D, and vitamin D is crucial for our health. Just to recap the primary benefits of vitamin D, well, it's crucial for immunity, number one, and it's important for bone health. It helps to absorb calcium and phosphorus, so it's really crucial for that. It also has been proven, it's not just like, oh, sunshine state of mind, like I feel great when I'm at the beach, happy-go-lucky. They actually have proven that sunshine can help to mitigate depression and potentially anxiety as well, but it is literally a mood booster, and it's scientifically proven to be so. I'm not sure, they've renamed seasonal affective disorder, I forget what they call it now, SAD, something like that, but maybe it has the same letters, I feel like it does, but they've renamed the letters, I don't know. Anyway, there's a direct correlation with people who live in northern regions where there's less light in the winter. If they don't have enough sun exposure, there is a direct correlation with depression and the seasons, because they're not getting enough sun. So they even have sun lamps, and maybe you've heard of those, for people who do suffer from a depression of mood when they are in, going through winter and there's less light. Because the way it works in our modern society in winter, in the daylight hours, we're often at work or it's just straight up cold out, so it's harder to bear being in the sun. So we know that vitamin D is really crucial for our overall health. Beyond that, they have actually done studies that vast majority, if not all, cancer patients are low in vitamin D when they are diagnosed, and perhaps going through the process as well. That was the case for me when I was going through my diagnostic process. I also met with a couple of holistic practitioners, and one of them immediately, went to check my vitamin D levels, and sure enough, quite low. So I was immediately put on a high-level supplement. Hello. And I took that throughout, and I elevated my vitamin D levels pretty dramatically, to the point where my oncologist in round 1 or 2 was like, maybe you can taper off the vitamin D. Your levels are super high. And I was like, well, what's wrong with being like 94 or 6% or whatever the actual measurement is? I think it was out of 100. But anyway, I increased my levels dramatically, and there was a lot that I did on the side to help, and I cleansed my body. I ate, very heavily plant-based, But all in all, I handled treatment well, to the point where the doctors were asking me how I was doing so well by the last round, and I responded super quickly to treatment. So I have to imagine that all of the stuff that I did to support my system did help. I had a very aggressive form, I went through the treatment, but it was also, okay, I need to make sure my body survives the treatment itself, because it was very aggressive. So there were a lot of factors there for me. So it's impossible, literally impossible, to pick apart what did what. But, deep down, I know that all these things certainly helped. And they've done studies that, I pulled it up here, so let me just check. Vitamin D levels in cancer, so stage 3 cancer in particular, they found that people who were below 24, it's nanograms per milliliter, whatever that really means. I know it's a quantity, but they were nearly 3 times more likely to have stage 3 cancer than those with higher levels of vitamin D. So that's quite low. There's a difference between being low and being clinically deficient, so I want to be clear about that as well. But the lower your levels are, the worse the progression is. So the risk correlation with vitamin D deficiency or lack of sufficient quantity is very, very real. And that alone should speak volumes to the importance of not just dietary supplementation, but the fact that we were born to live in nature. We were, when we entered the world as a species, we didn't have this society. So our bodies were designed to be out in the sun. And of course, we do, especially us lighter skinned folks, have to be a little cautious of getting too much in the middle of the daytime, which I am. That said, I have trained my skin by going out earlier in the day and later in the day to not need sunblock, an hour at a time or so. It depends on how strong the sun is, and, pushing 10:30, 11 a.m., I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to feel it. Closer to 11 a.m. And, I try not to go before 3 p.m., although these days it would be more like 2, because it gets dark a lot earlier down here. And I'm lucky that I am able to access that. Now, here is an interesting one that I actually just learned. I feel like it rang a tiny bell in my brain. So I feel like I heard this once, but I could be wrong, because maybe I knew this like in a past life. I don't know. But I just heard that if you wear sunglasses, even if you're not wearing sunblock, even if you're getting sufficient exposure, if you're wearing sunglasses, you're actually blocking a lot of the healing potential of sun. You may be getting vitamin D, but beyond vitamin D, sunlight actually literally has been found in the past to be extremely potent for a natural healing method, natural treatment. So, excuse me, I'm a little congested. So going back to pre-medical industry, pre-pharma, all of that, they used to send people to the seaside to heal when they were sick. This was, if you read novels from back in the day, I feel like, and the higher class, that kind of vibe, that's what they would do. They would go to the Mediterranean, they would go to the seaside, and it sounds all very lovely and fancy, but it was actually what they did. And the truth of the matter is, they actually were studying, back in the 30s, they were studying the impact of sun on a lot of different diseases. I pulled up another resource here. Over 165 different diseases, sunlight proved to be a beneficial treatment, including tuberculosis and hypertension, diabetes, and almost every single form of cancer. That is not anything to just push to the side and say, I don't know about that. I I really, really believe deep down to the core of my being that that's probably true, that the sun literally heals us. And it is powerful. The sun not just heals our body in tangible ways and improves our immunity and all of that. It helps us to activate DNA within. So right now we're getting a lot of light codes. We're getting a lot of energies. I don't know if you've been feeling it at all, especially this week because we're leading up to the 21st. There is a lot of intense energies coming in, and a lot of them are coming in from the sun, and these are light codes streaming in to activate our DNA, to help us ascend, to help us release the densities. And the thing is, depending on how much work you've done to release traumas and do emotional healing and all of that kind of stuff, it depends on where you are in the process, how intensely you may be experiencing what's happening energetically. So it does seem to correlate that the more work you have already done, the easier it is. On the flip side, you could be more sensitive if you've already done a lot of the work and released. You could feel it more and don't need as much of the energy coming in. So I'm not 100% sure. I think it's very, very individual. You get what you need from it. And the message may be to relax. The message for everyone is probably to relax and soak up the sun, but do it in gentle ways. And the thing about sunglasses, let me go back before I speed ahead of myself. Obviously, most of us are not able to look directly at the sun. And of course, during the middle of the day, we should not do that. So be careful about looking directly at the sun. But sunglasses are a different story. Walking around day to day when you're not in direct sunlight, just don't look up at the sun, maybe, that will help us absorb a lot more of the frequencies. It's more of a vibrational frequency. Yes, the sun feels warm to us, but what the sun is streaming in are frequencies, are vibrational energies. And so that's what we're absorbing when we don't wear sunglasses, when we don't wear sunblock. And the next level is to actually start practicing, and please look this up, do research. I'm not gonna, share all the nuances of it, but sun gazing. Sun gazing has been really, really powerful for many people I know. I'm kind of new to it, so I'm not going to speak into it in detail. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on it, but I do know that it is very powerful and it is worth researching for yourself. Just, simple Google search or whatever. So what you want to do is start at sunrise and or sunset, because that's when the light is at its gentlest, let's put it that way. Certainly don't walk outside midday, look up, because yes, that can actually hurt you. So please be very, very careful and follow the guidance of an expert and do it that way. But sun gazing can really help to activate these healing frequencies and to help to activate the DNA. So backtracking, we are only using about 2% of our DNA. And growing up, going to biology class, maybe you remember them talking about junk DNA, how 98% of our DNA is junk. That is a little ridiculous if you think about it. My belief and opinion, and many others that I know as well, is that that's not junk DNA. It's not there by accident. To have that much extraneous DNA in beings as complex as we are doesn't really make sense. If evolution is as, beautiful as it is, we wouldn't have that much random stuff sitting around within ourselves, within our DNA, our genetic sequence. What that is, rather, is unactivated DNA. It's not activated. We're not using it. So right now they found that the human body codes for about 23,000 genes, and through this process of ascension, we are actually literally evolving into a different form of being. We're becoming literal light beings. We're ascending from carbon-based DNA to crystalline DNA. I don't know if anybody has heard the term crystalline consciousness, but we are literally transitioning into a more crystalline state, which means embodied light. We will be embodied beings of light. And this isn't going to happen overnight, but this is the general progression of humanity's evolution right now, because we are stepping in to the fuller expression of who we are, which is truly, truly light. So this is kind of bringing it back down. We are in the process right now of this activation, this collective activation and ascension of humanity into this new version of being, into this new paradigm, into this new era, into this new golden age. But it's literally, we're becoming new beings. So we are going to be activating our DNA in a very literal way, and the sun codes are helping us to do that, the frequencies, the vibrations, because remember, everything is energy. So 23,000 gene expression, I have heard that we are shifting into and activating roughly 144,000 genes. So that is a massive upgrade. We're not talking about the actual individual DNA codes, because there's a difference between DNA and genes. The DNA codes for genes. So we have a whole sequence of DNA that will code for a specific gene. That particular sequence codes for that gene, and then that gene can then be turned on and used in multiple ways. But we're not going to dive down that rabbit hole too deeply today. Just know that if we're talking about a massive, massive upgrade and activation of our DNA for shifting from 23,000 to 144,000. So imagine what is going to be possible for us when all of this DNA is activated. And again, probably not going to happen overnight, but just step one for me, what I'm most excited about is the potential for self-healing capacities and capabilities. Just think of like these magical miracle healings that we're all going to be able to access all the time. That is, I think, probably the most tangible example. But yeah, like superpowers. Yeah, telepathy, that's another kind of simpler example. There's a lot of energetics involved, and there's a lot of layers to all of this ascension process. But yes, we are activating higher levels of DNA if we go out in the sun. We're also activating the pineal gland. The pineal gland is what helps us stay connected. So this is actually super, super important. And the sun gazing as well will help to activate. The pineal gland is the third eye. So if we're sun gazing, makes sense that it's going to help us activate the third eye. So there's a lot that we could dive into with this topic. It's a big one, and it's an exciting one. So just to ground it back down, I feel like I've kind of just gotten excited and missed a couple key things. So the sun's UV light in particular, the ultraviolet light is extremely healing for us. Actually, it has been demonized in our society, saying put on all the sunblock and all the sunscreen and don't go out in midday, wear clothes, stay inside, yada yada yada, because it will give you skin cancer. Unfortunately, skin cancer does happen, but that is not the full picture. It is not because the ozone is thinning. It is not because the sun is giving people cancer. Yeah, maybe a little too much sun if you're not careful about when and how often. I'm not saying go sunbathe in the middle of the day for 3 hours and get yourself burnt to a crisp. Absolutely not. Definitely don't do that. But if we are mindful about going out when the sun is less intense, we will actually derive massive benefits from that. And another thing I'd like to mention about the sun right now is that it is streaming in very high level frequencies. We're ascending into 5D, but it's actually streaming in 12D frequencies right now. So it's really, really high level frequencies. So this is now a wonderful opportunity for us to soak in all of this healing and activating light, because the sun is just beaming in so many powerful frequencies. So it is a powerful time to be here, to be upgrading, to be expanding. So it's going to help us expand our consciousness, elevate our frequency, elevate our vibrational frequency, which is basically part and parcel of this whole process of awakening and ascension. So, the light illuminates the truth. So let's get more sun, be out in the sun. Why do you think they've had us go inside? Why do you think they keep telling us to put on sunscreen? Why do you think, sunglasses are, made to be the most I wear sunglasses a lot. Don't get me wrong. My eyes are sensitive. This is something I'm working on. I love my sunglasses, so I was a little bit like, meh, when I heard this. But, it doesn't mean that we have to wear sunglasses all the time, or not all the time, that we can never wear them, rather. It just means that we have to be careful about not wearing them all the time. I said it backwards. I hope that makes sense. Just take them off once in a while. So yes, we are here to anchor in this crystalline light. We are here to anchor in the codes, so stay grounded. Anchor the light in by staying grounded, by taking electrolytes, by grounding down in the earth, feet in the ground if you can. But if you're in a cold climate, this is when sun gazing is actually going to be extremely helpful, because, and again, doing it when the sun rises and when it sets, and being really cautious. Google it so you have guidance. But if you're in a cold climate and you have to be bundled up, I know the Northeast has been blanketed in snow. My family's up there right now. I would not recommend they go out in a t-shirt to get some sun right now. Absolutely not. Practicality is over everything else. But what everybody can do is practice sun gazing, and that is something that you can do just by taking sunglasses off. So and as much as you can in the winter, that's helpful. Like, go outside for a walk in the snow. It's beautiful, and enjoy nature as much as you can. Just bundle up, so I know I live in a warm climate, and I have a little bit of an advantage here when it comes to soaking up the sun. However, I want to be clear that we can derive a lot of these benefits even if we're in the cold climate, and particularly when we're in the colder climates, the darker climates, it is especially important to do that, to get the sunshine. Just from a practical, seasonal affective mood perspective, the depression correlation is very, very real. So definitely, yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, Scotland, I went there in the summer, and it was light, like all day long. And then in the winter for New Year's, I was there one year, and there was like literally just a couple hours. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Yeah, so I know it's like a massive blessing just to be able to get a little chunk of that in your day. So I appreciate that very, very deeply, because I've lived in cold climates, northern climates, most of my life. I went to Copenhagen as well, and I remember there it was like, 5 hours of daylight during the winter, so I totally understand. I bet it's completely dark there now, and it has already been for like an hour or two, right? Yeah, or no, oh yeah, you're however many hours ahead, but yeah. Yeah, so it's a very real thing. I totally understand that. So that's why I was like, oh my gosh, the sun gazing thing could be extremely helpful for people who are in these climates right now, because right now is a really, really key time for us to be grounding all of this down. So the sun gazing, I think, could be a game changer for a lot of people. So yeah, I wanted to share that. And wow, there's so much that could be said, but I feel like that's good 9:30, oh my gosh, 2 p.m. I can't imagine the sun setting at 2 p.m. right now. I would not be okay with that. I would be like, let me get some more sun. Yeah, I had to move down to Miami because I knew deep down it would be healing for me. And a huge part of that was because of the sun and because of the beach. It was the combination. But yeah, definitely, like I was being pulled down here in a very tangible, physical, literal way. I was like, yes, life is better at the beach, sunshine, state of mind, all of that, you know, vitamin C, SEA. But for real, the sunshine is so powerful. It's so healing, and we've been detached from that, disconnected from it. And, you know, go back to my previous few videos to get into the system and the reasons for that, but for now we can just say oh, thank you. Yeah, it absolutely is totally blissful down here. I love it. I love it. I'm going to be moving to Tulum for a few months, so it's similar climate, but I'm absolutely like, this is my home base right now. I don't imagine going anywhere else. Yeah, so I feel very blessed, but I also know that I manifested it and I was called down here, and you know, we all have to anchor in the light in different parts of the globe too. So thank you for being there and shining your light up there, because everybody knows you guys need it even more than down here right now. So yeah, gosh, all right, well, we are basically ascending into lighter beings. So we literally need to soak up the light so that we can be more embodied versions of the light, and that we can shine brighter and brighter and brighter. So that's gonna wrap it up for today before I ramble on even more and more, because I could go down all the rabbit holes. But thank you so much for showing up, for shining your light, for shining bright, because we all have so much light to ground down and to anchor it into the earth right now. It is so, so key, because we are here to create heaven on earth, and that is our job. So thank you for showing up, and I'm sending you so much light and love onward and upward. Love you guys.